students, it's Dr. Marks, and we're here for an overview of Thailand, Part 3. This time we're talking about currency and exchange rates. Now, it's important that we understand the basics of exchange rates and how to calculate how much something is going to be costing us, because of course we're paying in a foreign country's currency, and that's going to mean we're paying some amount of US dollars. We want to get this right. Now, we're going to use exchange rates in a later unit, so for that reason it's important you understand this. It's going to be crucial when we talk about the Asian financial crisis that you be able to apply the idea of exchange rates. The currency that we're going to be using in Thailand is called the baht, and 1 baht is approximately 3 cents. So 1 baht is about 3 cents. That's a good rule of thumb, but it's not exact because we see fluctuations in the value of the baht. We see fluctuations in exchange rates. Now, exchange rates, so basically how many baht exchange for how many US dollars, are driven by supply and demand in the financial market. And if you were an economics major, you would learn a lot more about this in our international economics class. Some of you might be taking it as business majors as well. But this means exchange rates can change every day. They can actually change during a day because demand and supply in the financial market can change. Even just a little bit can change exchange rates. We're not likely to see large changes from day to day. You're not going to look at the exchange rates tomorrow and go, oh my gosh, what happened? They're just going to be kind of small movements, but you'll see them. However, sometimes small movements in exchange rates matters. For example, for this program, I had to wire hundreds of thousands of baht to Thailand to pay for all the things that I needed to pay for. Now, if you're only wiring $100, a small amount of change isn't going to matter if you're taking, $100 worth of bahts. But I was paying something like $12,000 in bahts to Thailand. So in that large volume, a small change in exchange rate can change what it costs me in US dollars. So when I pay for things on my study abroads, I'm trying to track those exchange rates, and if they look a little down today, maybe I wait till tomorrow and hope that they bounce back up. Because again, when you're wiring a huge amount of money or you're paying a huge amount of money for something, small changes in those exchange rates really can add up to a lot. Now, exchange rates change based on our speculation. For example, what if Thailand seems like a good place to invest? And I'm talking about, for people outside of Thailand, people that don't have baht but might want to invest in Thailand in some way. Well, we need baht to do that. If we all want to invest in Thailand, this is going to increase the demand for baht. Now, you don't have to know much economics to understand what happens when we increase demand. If I said that there was an increase in demand for apartments in Farmville, and I said, hey, what's that going to do to price? You could tell me that if the demand for something went up, it's going to lead to price increases. If a whole lot more people want to get apartments in Farmville, that's going to jack up the prices, right? So you already understand that when demand for something increases, then price is going to increase. And it works just the same when we're talking about currency. So guys, if you're not well versed in supply and demand, it doesn't matter. You just need to use your common sense. When we demand more apartments, the price of apartments is going to go up, right? If the price of baht, the currency in Thailand, goes up because we all want to invest in Thailand and we all need baht, and so we increase the demand for baht and baht prices go up, that means now the baht will be more expensive to buy. So when I say the price of a baht goes up, that means it costs more to buy their currency. Their bahts are going to be more expensive to buy. So that means it's going to cost us more in US dollars when we go to buy it. So when bahts are expensive, you and I are going to have to spend more on goods and services, right? So that probably makes intuitive sense. Instead of a baht costing 3 cents, like I just said before, it's a good rule of thumb. If demand goes up for bahts and bahts get more expensive, now maybe it costs 3.2 cents to get a baht. Well, that's not good for you and me, right? We're going to understand just the very basics about currency and exchange rates. And there will be a little math, but we're going to keep it pretty simple. So let's start by just testing our understanding. Which exchange rate would you rather have in Thailand if you're going as a tourist? So we're all going as tourists basically, and we want to show up. Which exchange rate would we rather have? Would we rather have an exchange rate that is 33.78 baht to the US dollar or 34.91 baht to the US dollar? So think about that for a second and tell me, or in your mind, which one you would rather have. All right, well, hopefully you answered 34.91 baht. When we hand them a dollar in Thailand, we want it to buy more baht instead of less baht, right? So when we go to Thailand, we want the exchange rate to be as high as possible, meaning our dollars buy as much baht as we possibly can. So hopefully you got that one right. It's better for us the bigger that number is for baht. We'd rather get 34.91 baht for each dollar instead of 33.78 baht per dollar. Let's look at another test of understanding. The exchange rate changes from 35.4 baht to 33.9 baht. So we changed the exchange rate. We see some change in exchange rate. And again, we're going to see small changes of exchange rate. It may not move that much overnight, but it could from month to month. I've seen that for sure. So I want to know, has the US dollar gotten stronger or has it gotten weaker against the baht? Has the dollar gotten stronger or weaker against the baht? So take a second and think about that. Has the dollar gotten stronger or weaker against the baht? Hopefully you said weaker. Why has the US dollar gotten weaker? Well, before, 1 US dollar bought 35.4 baht. But now it only buys 33.9 baht. The dollar is weaker against the baht. It buys less baht than before. So a related question, has the baht gotten stronger or weaker against the dollar? Has the baht gotten stronger or weaker against the dollar? Remember, you just told me that, hopefully you just told me, that the US dollar has gotten weaker against the baht. Well, if the US dollar has gotten weaker against the baht, then it has to be the case that the baht has gotten stronger against the dollar. It takes more money to buy baht than before. Your US dollar is not buying as many baht because bahts are more valuable relative to US dollars than before. So hopefully you are understanding just kind of that basic intuition. So one more test of understanding. The exchange rate is 33.6 baht per US dollar. So what is the value of just 1 baht? So how would you figure that out? The exchange rate is 33.6 baht per US dollar. What's the value of 1 baht? Now we know it's going to be around 3 cents, right? But what if I want to know exactly? So take a second and see if you can figure that out. So what do we need to do here? Well, we need to take $1 and divide it by the 33.6 baht that it takes us to get 1 US dollar. It turns out that if this is the exchange rate, then a baht is going to be equal to 2.976 cents. But what did I have to do? I had to flip that exchange rate over. 1 US dollar divided by 33.6 baht. So as I said, 3 cents per baht is a decent rule of thumb, but it's not going to be precise. Now, as we've said, exchange rates do change over time. They could change just a little bit in the day. It could change a little bit overnight. They don't move drastically during a particular day unless there's something really crazy going on. But what we see here is we have exchange rates that have moved quite drastically. Look at 2005. That's a good time to go to Thailand, right? Look at the exchange rate. The exchange rate in 2005 in yellow is 40.22. That means you show up with your dollar and they're going to give you 40.22 bahts. But right now, as I'm recording this in 2023, the exchange rate is 34.09. All right. That's still a decent exchange rate. You're going to feel like your money's going really far, but when you give them a dollar, they're only going to give you 34.09. Now that's a couple days ago when I looked this exchange rate up. It could be a little different in 2024. It could even be a little different by the time we actually get to Thailand in 2023. But what do you see? 2005 to 2006, we see the baht go from 40 per dollar to 37.88 per dollar. All right, so movement again, 2007, it goes down again, 34.52. It goes down again in 2008, 33.37. Look at 2011. It actually goes down to 29.82. Now, guys, tell me, would 2011 have been a good year for us to go to Thailand? Well, luckily that wasn't the exchange rate when we got there, but your dollar's only buying 29.82 baht. That would make it more expensive to go to Thailand. Luckily, it's kind of rebounded for us. The dollar has gotten stronger against the baht, but you see quite a bit of movement in the exchange rate. So what that means is, if you look at the column on the right, if you're making a 1,000 baht purchase, the value in dollars is going to be different. In 2005, that 1,000 baht purchase would be $24.86. But in 2011, that same 1,000 baht purchase is going to be $33.53. In 2023, the exchange rate means that 1,000 baht purchase is going to cost you $29.33. So you see what I mean when I say if you are making a very large purchase, like me wiring $12,000 to Thailand, that exchange rate matters. If it goes down a little bit one day or up, the next day, that could change what I'm actually paying in US dollars. So you get the idea. Exchange rates can change over time. Now, not all currencies will fluctuate against the US dollar. The Thai currency clearly fluctuates against the US dollar. We just looked at exchange rates that have changed, but some currencies are what we call pegged or fixed. For example, if you were going to Qatar, the rial is pegged to the US dollar. When we say it's pegged, that means it's fixed. There's a fixed exchange rate, and that fixed exchange rate has been in place since 2001. In other words, the Qatari government has said, we are going to establish an exchange rate and we are going to keep it fixed. We'll learn more about how that works later. So if you were going to Qatar, 1 US dollar equals 3.64 rial. That's their exchange rate, and it doesn't change. It's going to be constant. Now, let's do some calculations because, as I said, it's going to be important for you to be able to do this. I once forgot what country I was in, and I bought a pair of sandals thinking the exchange rate was something other than it was because I forgot which European country I was in, and I bought these really bad sandals and I paid a huge amount of money for them. So let's practice. So example number 1. Let's assume that the exchange rate is 35 baht for dollar. So remember, that means you show up, you give them a dollar, they give you 35 baht. Suppose I want to purchase a t-shirt that costs 492 baht. What is this costing me in US dollars? So if you don't have your calculator, you need to grab it or use your calculator on your cell phone, but I need you to practice these calculations to make sure that you're getting them right. So I'm going to pause here while you calculate. So let's see how you did. If you need another second, just hit pause on the video. So what do you have to do here? You need to take 492 baht and divide it by 35 because you're getting 35 baht to the dollar. If you take 492 baht, divide it by 35 baht to the dollar, what you're going to be paying is $14.06. So hopefully you got that right. All right, let's do another one. Example 2. Let's assume that the exchange rate is 35.75 baht. All right, so before it was 35, now it's 35.75. Everyone agree the dollar's getting just a little bit stronger against the baht, or the baht's a little bit weaker against the dollar than when it was 35. Suppose I want to reserve a hotel room that costs 1,225 baht per night. What will it cost me in US dollars? So again, I'm going to pause while you calculate to make sure that you're getting these right. If you need more time, just pause the video while we move on here. So what do I need to do here? Same thing. I take my price of 1,225 baht, I divide it by 35.75 baht per dollar because that is our exchange rate. That hotel room is going to cost me $34.27. And you might be thinking, wow, that's really cheap. Well, your money goes really far in Thailand. It is truly amazing. Example 3. Suppose I have $25 and I want to exchange it into Thai baht. So I'm showing up at the bank and I've got my $25 in US dollars, but I need Thai baht. If the exchange rate is 34.8 baht per US dollar, how much should I be given? So again, I'm going to pause while you calculate. You need your $25 converted to baht. Notice here, instead of dividing, we're multiplying. So $25 multiplied by 34.8 baht per dollar. The bank should give me 870 baht. So notice, guys, in examples 1 and 2, I divided because I was going from baht to dollars. But now I'm going from dollars to baht, and I'm multiplying. So hopefully you see these patterns. Let's move on to talk about posted exchange rates and what we call spread. What you're going to see is that at banks and exchange counters, when you go to exchange your money, there are actually going to be 2 exchange rates posted, and this is what causes a lot of confusion for people. One rate is for when you buy baht from the bank, like when we arrive in Bangkok, right? They're selling us baht. So if I'm showing up with my dollars and I want baht, I am buying baht. So there's one rate for that. There's another rate when we sell baht to the bank. Now, when would I be selling baht to the bank? This would be like when I want to exchange baht back to dollars because I'm leaving. If you still have baht left when we're leaving Thailand, you can exchange it back for dollars, but then you're selling baht. So make sure you're clear. You're buying baht when you're handing them dollars and trying to get baht from the bank, but you're selling baht when you're giving baht back to the bank and you want dollars. There's a spread between these 2 rates. We just said there's a buy rate and a sell rate, and there's a spread. So basically, it builds in a profit for the bank. So these 2 rates are going to be different, and the bank gets the difference. And that's part of how the bank makes money. So I'm going to show you this in just a second in some pictures, but you need to understand first what we mean by buy, what we mean by sell, And if I give you those examples, if I say, here's the buy rate, here's the sell rate, you need to know which one to use. So make sure you understand when you would use the buy and when you would use the sell exchange rate, because we just covered that. So take another look if that's not clear. This is what we would see when we go to a bank or an exchange counter. They're going to give us a whole bunch of different exchange rates. Now notice, guys, first, before we even talk about buy and sell rates, notice that there are 3 different exchange rates for US dollars. And you don't want to show up with teeny tiny bills because the exchange rate's going to be a little lower. Generally, 20s, they get a decent exchange rate, but you're going to get a better rate if you have 50s to 100s. So I often show up with 50s and give them those. All right, now middle column in green, it says buying, and then in red, selling. So that's the buy and the sell. So remember, the buying is when you're buying baht, you're giving them dollars. In this case, they're going to give you 29.78 baht. So you show up, you want to get baht, you're handing them your US dollars, they're going to give you 29.78 baht per dollar that you give them. And again, these may not be current exchange rates. This is actually 2012. I just grabbed a picture from the internet. All right. Now, there's a second rate, sell, or in this case it says selling. So if you're selling, remember, you're giving them baht back. Maybe I'm leaving Thailand. I'm not planning to come back again. So I'm going to give you my leftover baht. I want you to give me dollars back. That's the selling rate. They're going to charge you a different rate. Now notice the selling rate is 31.16. Make sure you understand what's going on here. When you buy baht from them, they're going to give you 29.78 per dollar. But when you want to get your dollars back, now you've got to give them 31.16 baht to get your dollar back. Does that make sense? So we have a spread. The spread is the difference. 31.16 minus 29.78 is 1.38 baht per US dollar. Basically, they're saying is the difference between you buying the baht and selling the baht is 1.38 baht per US dollar. And that's the spread. That's going to be a profit that's kind of built into these transactions for the bank. That's one of the ways they make their money. Let's suppose that you exchange an extra $200 into baht just in case you need it. So maybe you think you're going to hit the shopping a little harder than you end up doing. Although the shopping is phenomenal, so you are going to need some serious amount of bahts. So let's work with these exchange rates right here. If you want to buy baht, 29.32 is what they're going to give you for each dollar you give them. But if you want your dollars back, you have to give them 31.6 baht. So do you see the deal? You have to give them more than they were going to give you, right? That's how they make a profit. So again, let's suppose you exchange an extra $200 in baht just in case you need it. All right? But you don't end up using it, so you exchange it back. And this seems to worry people. Oh gosh, what if I have too much baht? Guys, it's not going to hurt you that much because we're about to do some calculations to show this. So let's figure out how much money you've lost in this spread, right? Because see what's going on? They're giving you 29.32, but then you have to give them 31.6 to get your dollar back. That's how they make money. So you're going to lose a little money there. How much will you have lost? Let's see if we can figure that out. So when we arrived, we gave them $200 and they gave us 29.32 baht for each of our dollars. We got 5,864 baht. All right. But remember, we didn't use it. So we've got 5,864 baht in our pocket. We are doing a lot of shopping. Somehow we just don't need this money. So we want to give it back and get dollars back. So when we depart, We take that 5,864 baht, but we have to give them 31.69 baht for each of those dollars, right? So take 5864 baht divided by the selling rate of 31.69, and you're going to be given back $185.57. So remember, you were just thinking, wait, but I gave you 200 to begin with. Yeah, that's what happens when the buy rate is different than the sell rate. You're going to have to give them more to get your dollars back than they gave you to begin with. But in all, it's not a huge loss, right? You've lost the difference between 200, what you exchanged to begin with, and $185.57, what they gave you back. So your loss is $14.43. Now, you can do some fun things with $14.43 in Thailand, so let's not waste money in this way. But guys, if you exchange a little too much money and you exchange it back, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But in case I forget to tell you later, you're only going to be able to exchange back your bills. You're not going to be able to exchange back your coins. So spend your coins or bring them home for souvenirs. They will only take your bills. So my question is then, what happens as the spread gets bigger? Right here, the spread isn't that big, but what happens if the spread were to be bigger? Everyone agree you're going to lose more than $14.43. So if the spread is really small, you're not going to lose that much in the kind of transaction we just did. If the spread was a lot bigger, then that would be potentially bad. But we're not going to have that problem in Thailand. So guys, in conclusion, we're going to be paying in cash most of the time. So we're not going to be using our credit cards very often, and people aren't going to take dollars. We must use the Thai baht. So it's going to be important that we show up, exchange money, have what we need. We can always get more, but we're not going to hit a bank all the time, and there's not going to be opportunities to use your credit card. So you need to be able to calculate costs in US dollar so that you know exactly what something is costing you. It's very exciting when you're negotiating in baht for things that you find in the market, but you need to be able to quickly determine, wait, is this a good deal or is this a bad deal? So this is going to be especially important in markets when you make higher priced purchases. If we're talking about, a food item or, a beverage, none of this is going to be all that expensive. But if you find something a little pricey and you think you might want it, make sure you're accurate. So please practice. Make sure you can do these calculations. Of course, you're going to have some testing questions on these as well. Thanks so much for listening and have a fantastic day.